It's Friday evening. It's about 5:10, a little before 5:10. And April 19th, 2024. Going over a few things. Um, Wide subject. All over the place. Um, all right, let's start with YouTube. I'm watching a few YouTube videos on how to be a more successful YouTuber. And it seems, as if I didn't know this before, that I'm doing things almost completely wrong. For, I'm steering my channel more towards the live stream. And some people recommend not doing that. That live stream should be in support of your main topic, the gist of um, what your channel focuses on. And my channel doesn't really have a focus, actually. It's not a burpee channel. It's not an exercise channel, although I do burpees and I exercise. Um, and it is also nature shorts, a lot of nature shorts, but that's not the focus. Although, I don't know, it might be eventually because I absolutely love doing it. But I don't want to come here.
No.
And our friend Noble Scrolling Traveler is up. Um, so
I didn't get
we're gonna live stream his live stream in and out.
Let's see what it is.
Um,
This it's Academy Street.
so
Academy Street. I don't think it's a bridge. I think
let's
it's
get
just
that turned off for right now.
behind the Montesino football field.
They're out feeding crows. Noble and his people. So anyway, I talk about meditation, I talk about spirituality, I talk about breath work. None of that is the actual focus of my channel. My channel doesn't have a focus. It is talking about the things in each moment that mean the most to me. And that could be anything. Yesterday, the live stream was a big focus on reading a poem. And I was actually looking for a poem this evening by D.H. Lawrence, and I can't seem to find it. Maybe I'll keep looking, maybe not. Um, so it almost seems like my other stuff supports my live stream instead of my live stream supporting that. I don't know. It also says to come with the topic in mind. Don't just randomly live stream. Everything I do in life is random. So, again, I guess I'm behind the curve with this. However, if you're not focused, if you're not singularly focused on success as measured by, I don't know who, another YouTube guy, a book, the media, friends, if you're not focused on that definition of success, how can you fail? You can redefine what it is that you're doing. You can make every YouTube experience a piece of your art. It doesn't have to fit anyone's expectations. Now, of course, channels that tell you how to set up your own YouTube channel, can be a big help and can be really important. And maybe I wish I'd found that when I started, but I don't know. I don't think so, because then I might have did things in a professional way, and I wouldn't be here stumbling through a conversation with you now. And stumbling through a conversation is just what happens sometimes in life, and that's perfectly fine. It doesn't have to fit a pattern. So, I've reviewed some books earlier. And maybe we'll do another. This is, I talked before about Roger Husband, who wrote the uh, 7 poems to change your life, 7 poems to open your heart, um, and other titles along those same lines. This is 7 Sins for a Life Worth Living. And it was published in 2005. When I bought it, this is a hardcover. I have not seen it since 2005 when I read it. I stumbled upon it today when I was going through some stuff. Here he is equating sin with pleasure. One of the things, remember that the definition of sin, as translated from Greek in the early translation of the Bible, simply means to miss the mark. Doesn't mean that it is a mortal mistake, that it's going to be something that's going to condemn us to hell, that we should be punished for it. Be punished for missing the mark? Are we punished for missing a target? Are we punished for stumbling? It's what a sin is, stumbling. Now, of course, we're going to have a little difference there, that we know what's right, we know what's wrong. I don't think we need to quibble about those details. So these are the 7 Sins for a Life Worth Living by Roger Hudson. The pleasure of all 5 senses, the pleasure of being foolish, the pleasure of not knowing, the pleasure of not being perfect, the pleasure of doing nothing useful, the pleasure of being ordinary, the pleasure of coming home. There's some important things there. There's some important things there for everyone who is doing a YouTube channel, being a content creator, being an artist of any kind, especially in the age of social media. If you are presenting what you do as art, no matter what it is, there are going to be detractors. There are going to be people who show up to tell you that's not the way to do it better, why are you doing this, don't do this, and all down the line. So let's take just a couple of these. The pleasure of being foolish. That really sets you free. Pleasure of being foolish. That we don't need to be straight and narrow. We don't need to present ourselves in any certain way. We can take great, great pleasure in simply being foolish, meaning we show up here, I show up here without a single thing to talk about until I stumble upon a book and decide to talk at least a little bit about that book, as well as all the mistakes that I'm going to end up making throughout this entire talk. That's the pleasure of being foolish, is that I allow myself, allowing myself to simply be, That sentence actually doesn't need a finish. To simply be is the pleasure, if that makes sense. So Um, this book has wonderful quotes throughout. One by William Blake: "If the fool would persist in his folly, he would become wise." That's the pleasure of being foolish. That as we go through the process of foolishness itself, we become wise. The other sin for a life worth living, one of the other sins for a life worth living, we must be willing to let go of the life we have planned so as to live the life, to have the life that is waiting for us. Joseph Campbell, who wrote or compiled The Power of Myth. Most famous, Joseph Campbell being most famous for the Follow Your Bliss, which has often been misunderstood as in doing just what feels good. Not the case. By bliss, he's talking about the Sanskrit Sat Chit Ananda, that highest state of consciousness bliss. That is different than just doing what feels good, because sometimes following our bliss might be running a marathon. That doesn't always feel good. It might be helping serving children in another country. That certainly doesn't feel good, but you do have that bliss, that higher state of consciousness, by being of service to those who are in most need. So that's the true meaning of follow your bliss. The pleasure of not knowing is the other sin for a life worth living. And again, I'm going to try to apply all of this to YouTube channels, my YouTube channel. You just heard me talk about all the things I don't know what my channel is about. I don't know. I'm not concerned about it in the least. What makes a successful YouTube channel? Who knows? I'm sure there's a formula. I'm sure you could follow that formula and maybe be a success. I'm sure you could follow that formula and maybe not be a success. What about if you just decided to be authentic? Each day you show up on YouTube is going to be something different. It's going to be an adventure of spirit. We're just diving in. We're seeing what happens. We're having a conversation. I never know who's going to show up, if anyone at all. And honestly, sometimes I enjoy the conversations of talking just me. Sometimes I enjoy the conversation talking with all the people that I know and all the people that I don't know who show up. Our friend Sergio is here. How many push-ups you do today? Let's see. Today I did burpee intervals for 23 minutes. I did a minute on, a minute off. I averaged 14 to 15 reps per minute. So, and then I did 2 minutes in a row at 15 reps each, which I think puts me at about 150 burpees. So 150 push-ups. Not a ton. But enough for today. Yesterday was a pretty big session where I did dips and pull-ups and burpees, Navy SEAL burpees. So to have 3 push-ups per burpee. And so today was more or less a recovery day. So, Sergio, how are you? What's new in the world of Sergio? And by the way, I appreciate you being here, my friend. I'm going through an old book. And I'm sort of applying it towards my YouTube channel. Starting off with the pleasure of being foolish, the pleasure of not knowing. The next one is the pleasure of not being perfect. I certainly know that one. All right, I certainly know not being perfect. However, it took me a long time to come to the pleasure of not being perfect. You actually get pleasure from simply being your authentic self, flaws and all, mistakes and all, stumbling through conversations, being awkward, not being perfect. But more importantly, not trying to be perfect. And you know what? I give YouTube live streams a great bit of inspiration for that. Because I knew when I went live for the first time, I was going to be far from perfect. And I didn't think it was going to get any better. And I don't know as it has. Um, and that's perfectly freeing. That's wonderful. It's actually beautiful. Hey, our friend Burpee Yoga Uncle is here. Speaking of push-ups, Sergio, this is the man to ask how many push-ups he did. Um, an absolute phenomenal. Was it 6,000 something, I believe? And at the same time, Unc is offering some words of wisdom here. If one thinks they are perfect, that is already an imperfection, followed by a laugh, and he's absolutely right. Um, Burpee Yoga Uncle said he did 1,600 yesterday. Absolutely amazing. And that's after 4 years of doing burpees every single day, which, as I pointed out the other day, um, I'm the low man on the streak. I did yesterday, 2 days ago. Today was 844 days of burpees in a row for me. Um, so again, on this burpee streak, I am a low man on the totem pole. We got the Burpee King, 1,000 something. We have Unc, 1,000 something. And our good friend Flower is here. Hey, Eric. Just woke up. How are you? Um, so that's a telling point from Unc. If one thinks they are perfect, that is already an imperfection. And I agree 100%. And I want to add the problem is not so much thinking that they are perfect as in thinking that they have to try, they have to strive to be perfect. And then they're caught in that mental construct of every day, everything they do has to fit this expectation that no one has for them except for themselves. Or if other people have them, they're trapped in that other person's expectation. All we have to do is let it go, let it go, let it go. Completely surrender to the moment as is, which is absolutely beautiful. The other day, had a long conversation in a live stream about the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi, which is the inherent imperfection, the beauty in that imperfection, the beauty of the transient nature of all things. And when you can embrace that, then you can become your authentic self. Let's backtrack. You never become your authentic self. You can't. You already are. You reveal, and not only do you reveal, you revel in your authenticity. Flower says, I'm good. How about you? I'm doing good too. It's been a pretty good day. Flower says, except at like 11 p.m. my time, and you go live at 11:30 time. So I missed the first one. That's okay. We'll have another one tomorrow, and you're here now. That's what counts. Um, so imagine if you just imagine you're starting a YouTube channel. Imagine you're doing live streams. Imagine that you have everything laid out, a script. This is what I'm going to talk about. And it all goes to pieces. What do? I don't know. Because I've never come with a script for anything, anything in my life. Um, and I've actually I've become friends with my own imperfection because, again, it sets you free. Who can say anything about you if you've embraced your imperfection? But one thing to know is perfection, imperfection is a concept, meaningless, except for the meaning that you provided. If you take that meaning away, once again, you're absolutely free. And freedom, in and of itself, that kind of freedom, that spiritual freedom, that is perfection. And that is what you already are. So we come full circle to what our friend Unk said, that if you think you're perfect, you're already in perfection. And the same is reversed. If you think you're imperfect, you're already fully embraced by that perfection of freedom itself. You just need to recognize it, release it, surrender to it, and then live your life simply and easily. Sorry, got to say hi to my cat. Got to say hi to my cat because it's been minutes since the last time I said hi to my cat. Burpee says imperfection is the means to tell one that there is more to learn and grow. So true. The problem becomes when we become too afraid of. The first thing I read was the pleasure of being foolish. The two feed off of each other. You can't allow yourself to be foolish if you're so caught up in being afraid of your own imperfections. Because to be seen as foolish means that others see what they consider imperfection. And again, all of its notion. Imagine if we just simply let all of that go. If we realize that every opinion is a thought that has been thought thousands of times, but isn't necessarily true. It's never been examined. We've never asked ourselves, where did this opinion come from? Why do I have this opinion? Is it true? Is it absolutely true for certain? Or we could ask ourselves, who would I be if I didn't have this opinion? How would my life be different if I didn't have this opinion or belief? That includes our fear of being foolish and our fear of our imperfections showing through. Flower says, I was having a nice dream and I remembered you're live and I jumped out of bed. I appreciate you being here. At least it's Friday, it's a weekend, so you don't have to worry about school tomorrow. So, the next one, and again, these are from Roger Housden's book, 7 Sins for a Life Worth Living. He's defining sin a little differently here. The next one is the pleasure of not knowing. It's another important one for me. All of these have been important to me. Again, I was told, I just listened to a professional, very successful YouTuber offer outlines for live sessions where he talked about always have a plan, always have an outline, stick to it. People don't want to come to a live stream where the person doesn't know what he's going to talk about. I absolutely never know what I'm going to talk about in any live stream whatsoever. I don't know. There's so much power in those words. I don't know. And yet we're almost constantly putting on a front of certainty. I pretend to know. I pretend that my opinion and my belief is the absolute truth. Why? Because I think it. That's all. Because I think it. And because someone who I consider more important than me told it to me, gave it to me, or confirmed it. or several people, or 1,000 people all believe the same thing, all have that same opinion. So it must be true. None of that makes it true. Imagine if we just embrace that, I don't know. There's an entire school of Zen Buddhism based upon um, that concept of don't know mind. Simply don't know. Um, that was really important for me to understand that I didn't have to know, especially coming here uh, and talking live stream on YouTube. For one, I don't have a plan. I don't know what we're going to talk about. Um, I accidentally pulled this book off the bookshelf looking for something else. It was behind a whole lot of other books. I haven't seen it since I read it, and that was in 2005 when it was published. Um, and it's the exact book that I needed to see right now. Every once in a while, I get some great questions here. Some really deep and meaningful questions. Some people have come and asked, what do I think happens when we die? And my answer is, I don't know. And I certainly don't know. I can speculate, but we can all speculate. None of that makes it true. I've read the Katha Upanishad, which talks of death. Um, I've read the Tibetan Book of Living and Dying. Um, I've gone through other texts that talk about it. I've read through the Bible that talk about death. Of course, I went to Catholic school where we have the belief in the resurrection. All of its beliefs, someone else's beliefs. I don't know. Let's see. Uh, Preppy Yoga Uncle says, we'll leave this running, gotta run. Hey, I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate you stopping by, Unc. Uh, thank you for being here. Thank you for leaving it up and running. And thank you for all the inspiration that you've given me. And my own burpee, I don't know if I would be doing my own streak if it wasn't for the precedents that you set for us to follow. So thank you, my friend. Flower says, I always ask myself, what if I changed what I did when I was younger? Would I still do or like the same things? Or will they be different? That's a good question. But if you say as centered in the present moment as you can, um, you're already in the midst of change. Everything is already going to be different. And at the same time, be exactly as it is right now. So the next one, in the 7 sins for a life worth living. The pleasure of doing nothing useful. Boy, is that right on the nail, hitting the nail right on the head for me. Pleasure of not doing anything useful. I think both my parents would have considered what I'm doing right now to be a complete waste of time, nothing useful. I'm not accomplishing anything. I am not earning a living. I'm not earning anything. Uh, Nothing useful. And yet it's perfectly fine. We don't have to always be doing something useful. The fact is that we are of use at all times. We are the part of the very consciousness of the universe, continuously giving feedback. We are exhaling carbon dioxide, or is it carbon monoxide? I believe it's carbon dioxide, CO2, to be useful for trees. We are a host for microbes. We are actually more microbes than human cells. How's that for being useful? Amazing. And we don't even consider it. We don't even need to consider it. Um, simply being alive. Flower says, "How long have you been live, Eric?" It's been half an hour. I'm taking my ashwanga. So we'll chat for another half an hour or so. Um, I noticed that it seems more people seem to show up um, later, but it doesn't matter. Me talking by myself, me talking to two people, me talking to three people, um, the conversation is usually the same. The what I say is normally the same. The conversation that we have, the narrative, that changes with every person that comes in, and that's always pretty cool. Um, so, um, where was I? Pleasure of doing nothing useful. Again, it's a matter of conception, really. That, as I explained, just the act of breathing, we're being useful. Just the act of breathing, we're being useful. Just the act of being aware itself is being useful. But most importantly, we don't need to be useful, at least in a busy sense. And that's the problem. We're always rushing around. We're always trying to be useful. We're always trying to be um, busy when we certainly don't always need to be. And then this will be the last one, the pleasure of being ordinary. I like that one too. I like all of them, but the pleasure of being ordinary. And when you think about it, just being, just being ordinary. Um, let's see. Anthony Sanchez says, "Can I get a shout out?" Yes, you can. Anthony Sanchez is in the chat, and it's much appreciated, my friend. Thank you. Anything else we can do for you? So, the pleasure of being ordinary. The amazing thing is just being ordinary, just being ourselves, is pretty damn miraculous when you consider the odds of us being here at all are astronomical. The odds of the universe just being here at all is astronomical, let alone us as an individual. Uh, Anthony Sanchez says, "What is the best sport?" Man, that's a good question. Um, and you know what? My answer would have changed from year to year. If you had asked me 4 years ago when I was racing, I would have said ultra running. Um, Flower says every sport is amazing. I agree. Although, you know what? I'm going to amend it just a little bit. Every athlete is amazing and to be able to do what they do. And that's everything. You ever watch someone bowl a perfect 300? You can imagine the difficulty of that. That's a perfect score. So imagine being able to do that over and over and over again to get 300. Some people might argue and say bowling isn't a sport, or auto driving isn't a sport, or whatever. All of them are sports. Um, also, golf. Hitting a tiny ball with a not really big club into a tiny hole from a great distance, it's pretty amazing. Um, Anthony says, I like soccer. Soccer's a great sport. Basketball is fun to watch. Amazing athletes to be able to do what they do. Baseball's pretty amazing. Imagine, again, someone being capable of throwing a ball from 90 to 100 miles an hour and someone being capable of hitting that ball and knocking it out of a stadium. It's pretty amazing. There was a time when I might have picked boxing, MMA. Um, my tastes have changed a bit, although I can still appreciate uh, boxing, especially prime Mike Tyson, probably the baddest man on the planet. Um, so you know what? I'm going to agree with our friend Flower. All sports are pretty amazing. All athletes capable of doing it, no matter where they are, is pretty amazing as well. Flower says, but I guess for me, I'd like ice skating. Ice skating's pretty phenomenal, actually, all of it. From power skating, or is it power skating? Speed skating, sorry, and figure skating. Pretty incredible. Let's see. Anthony says, cool. Uh, anyone else you like? Anything else you like? Um, well, I'm thinking about the things that I've done in the past, and it's a whole lot, from powerlifting to bodybuilding to Olympic weightlifting to kettlebell sport, ultra running. I think out of all of them, ultra running might have been my favorite. You're so immersed in the scenery. You're running great distances, um, close to nature. You're pushing yourself right on the edge. No doubt, um, one of the achievements that I'm happiest with is running a 100-mile race a couple times. I actually did not finish more than the ones that I finished. Quite a few 100-mile races that I attempted. I always got over 50 miles in every one, but there was quite a few that I dropped out at mile 60 or mile 70. One was at mile 80. But none of it was ever a waste. I enjoyed the races that I didn't finish as much as the ones that I did. And you can't say that about every sport. Um, but in ultra running, you certainly can. So that's why, for me, I'm going to pick ultra running. And an ultra race is anything over 50K, 31 miles. Usually it's between 31 miles and 100 miles, or sometimes time races. You could do a 6-hour race, 12-hour race, or 24-hour race. They even have 48-hour races, and longer, actually. And as I get older, I wonder what's going to be next for me. I have a friend that has run 100-mile races in his 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. It's 5 decades of 100-mile races. He's actually a legend in the sport. And it makes me wonder, in the next couple of years, if I can come out of retirement and do another couple 100-mile races. Our friend Odom is here. Odom, how are you? It was on your channel recently. I was going through the Get It Off Your Chest Thursday. I got a few people up here as well. I had Noble up, but it seems that he has ended his live stream. He is back up. He's got another live stream. I don't know if his theory uh, is the best. If he doesn't get a whole lot of people showing up, he ends the live stream and he starts it with a different title in order to attract more people. And that might be a good strategy for him. But then the focus all becomes on attracting people. You know what I mean? You've shifted from that internal focus. You've shifted from we're going to live stream his live stream.
Yogi, give me a color. Give me a color. Pick a color, Yogi. What's up? What's this stream about? Enjoying the weather and enjoying you guys.
Can you hear him? I'm going to let him know that we are live streaming.
Pick a color. Anybody pick a color. Blue. We're going to go with blue.
There we go. I don't want to be concerned with how many people show up. I want to have my conversation as I have my conversation. However, the chips might fall, how many people show up, how many people don't show up. As I mentioned before, I'd be having much the same conversation.
Blue in here, boys. I'm live streaming your live stream. Yeah.
That was Noble.
Hi, how's it going? Possibly a gamer. How's it going? You were.
Odom says.
JR said you were freaky with 8 Yelp girl.
There you go. Odom says your real community will show up. I appreciate hearing that. And I think they are, actually. They're starting to. Flower says Noble's live. He is live. He took a bit of a break. He said he was visiting with some friends, and he is back up and running. So again, some of the things that watching instructions on how to do a successful live stream, and I'm not doing a single one of them. I'm doing it completely incorrectly. And although I think, if you're making some obvious mistakes, it's always good to fix it. At the same time, I think sometimes you got to redefine the rules and don't try to fit everyone's expectations. What is a successful live stream? Is it more successful because I hear quite a few people say, I got 30 people here, 20 people here. Is that more successful, or is it just more people? And also, I'm told to come with a plan and stick with it no matter what. Of course, you're going to interact with people. That's the whole purpose of the live stream. But stick with the reason why you're here. The reason why I'm here has absolutely nothing to do with a plan, though. It has everything to do with simply being alive and having a conversation and see what happens. Sometimes what happens is 1 or 2 people show up and I have a great, meaningful conversation with them. Sometimes what happens is lots of people show up and I have a great, meaningful conversation with them. So if we enter into anything on YouTube with the expectation that we're going to break the bank, we're going to set the YouTube world on fire, or we're going to give it our best shot, it takes a whole lot of joy out of the simple act and art of creation itself, of just relaxing, talking, seeing what happens. There's a great art to conversation. And I think there can be a great art to live stream that has nothing to do with all of those rules. I'm not saying that I'm producing great art here, but there's moments when everything's flowing for all of us. Uh, that some magic happens, and it happens in everyone's live stream if you allow it, if you surrender all those expectations. Um, Odom says, I had a lot of help uh, finding the right community. Uh, I'm grateful. I'm not growing as much as most, but it's a real community showing up to support a little old country grower. Um, and that is important. And it definitely feels good. Definitely feels good to belong, to have that fit in a community. Gives you that sense of support, that sense of, again, community. I think that might be um, something that I consider a bit, that I don't have a particular, um, I don't have a single community that I fit in 100%. I could have stayed in the burpee lane, but I found that when I was done doing burpees, I started talking about the stuff that I really feel passionate about, which is meditation and breath work, yoga, spirituality across the board, all of it, from Buddhism to Christianity, doesn't matter. Evan S says, how do you stop negative behavior when you're connected to it through family? Um, our own negative behavior or the negative behavior of someone in our family? And I think the answer might be the same, as much answer as I might be able to offer, in that you can't stop negative behavior in another. You can't stop negative behavior in yourself because you're lending energy to it when you try. What you can do is question yourself. Who is this negative behavior happening to? If you simply bring awareness to it, everything changes. Everything changes through awareness. And yogic psychology, Buddhist psychology, they talk about patterns of our thinking. They're called samskaras, which are emotional imprints that we always fall into. We have an emotional imprint for everything that we've done repeatedly through life. And whenever a situation presents itself, we immediately fall into that pattern. It's based upon, in yoga, what they call the kleshas. And the kleshas are things that we're attached to, things that we're averse to, things that we're ignorant of, as well as things that we're afraid of. And that everything is based upon that without our realization. We are always reacting from those kleshas. We're always acting from the things that we are averse to. We're always acting to the things that we are attached to. As soon as you become aware of that, don't have to change it. just bring awareness to it. What happens is you go from reacting, which is what a negative behavior is, it's simply a reaction, to being responsive, or ability to respond. So you start to see it. You start seeing those patterns. You start seeing how all of that's connected. And as soon as you see it, things start to shift completely on their own. And you start to smile at the things that used to cause you to react. Now you have that brief pause and you see it. You become the witness to the event instead of the one causing the event, the one caught up in the event. And as a witness, you're not as emotionally involved and you can sort of step back. You can pull away from the event. I don't know, Evanes, if that was helpful. Um, but I hope that you find a sense of peace, either from the negative behavior that might be happening through you or through um, the family. So even if it is the negative behavior of another, someone in your family, you can simply help them be aware. You can work on your own peacefulness and your own awareness and hold them in love and realize that they're not choosing to be negative. They're trapped in that emotional response, that emotional reaction, and they can't get out of it. You can help them. You can meditate yourself. You can invite them to meditate with you. You can work on growing that sense of awareness between both of you, um, and allow it to change instead of trying to force a change, which is just going to drive those patterns deeper. So, again, I hope that helps somewhat. Is that pronounced Jose? Jose? I'm going to mispronounce it, except for your last name, Perez. I apologize for mispronouncing your name. Salud, Guatemala. Hey, thanks for visiting from Guatemala. Guatemala, I appreciate that. I don't believe I've had anyone from there in the live stream before, so you're the first, and I very much appreciate it. Odom says, my community is gardener, homesteading, gaming, crafting, firearms, music, education. Uh, how I love learning. Oh, I'm going to throw in another one for you, Odom. It's also fitness. Your community is definitely in the fitness community as well. Evan S. says that was very helpful. Thank you. You're welcome, my friend. Jose says, I know, again, I'm pronouncing that wrong. I feel bad. I am from Guatemala. Greetings. Greetings to you, my friend. Thank you for being here. So that's good to know, Odom. That's helpful for me very much. I've learned quite a bit on streaming and channels from talking to you. You've given me, excuse me, guys, not only great advice, but a lot of inspiration and a whole lot of encouragement. And that's very much appreciated. Especially considering, I'm the same way, all over the place. So it's nice to think that I can build a community from all avenues of you two. I don't have to be pinpointed on one thing. Odom says, sometimes we have to love people from afar. Even our own family negatively will block you from receiving your blessings. I agree with that. And speaking from my own experience, that when I was heavily drinking, no one could help me. Not a single person could come to me and said, hey, you're destroying your life. My answer would have been, I would have reacted. It's my life. If I don't care, why should you care? Let me live my life the way I want to live my life. How dare you not think that I know what I'm doing? all that stuff. I would have just thrown it right back in their face. Nothing they could have done would have changed me. But change started happening on its own when I started to meditate, when I started doing my breath work, when I started doing yoga, and I didn't do any of that to change. It just happened. For some reason, I was drawn to meditation, so I did it. I was curious about it. Curiosity may be the greatest gift that we have if we give ourselves to it completely. I would imagine when you first start growing, there's a whole lot of curiosity. How is this plant going to turn out? If I do this, is it going to be different? And every season being something to be curious about. How is it going to be this year? How much rain are we going to get? How much is the heat going to affect what's growing? How much whatever? Just being curious about life. And more importantly, be curious about yourself. I'm going to go back to Evan S. and be curious about change. Be curious about how you can change. Be curious how, if it's another person, be curious about how they might change. And little things that we can do to feed that curiosity of each other. Odom says, sorry, Eric, have to go. Need to support. Is that J3GS? Have a blessed day, everyone. Thank you for coming in, Odom. I very much appreciate it. We're not going to be too much longer here. We're going to give a quick check-in for our friend Noble. And see what's going on. I see our friend Flower is there. So it's good to have Noble back up and running. And our friend Flower is back. No problem, Odom, and you too. How's everything over at Noble's, Flower? Friday nights are usually pretty quiet here. I tell you what, Noble's pretty good with that Rubik's Cube. Odom is back, says don't look like he's on. Well, keep checking in. He might be popping up soon. So one of the things Destiny actually sent or tagged me in 10 biggest do's and don'ts of live streaming on YouTube, and I pretty much don't do any of the ones that I'm supposed to, and I do all the ones that I'm not supposed to. Which is not surprising, most especially to those who know me. But you know what? We stumble through. We do the best that we can. That's it. That's all we can hope for. Let's see. Flower says, good. When I first got on, there was he was meowing in a deep voice of a cat. That sounds pretty much like Noble. Definitely sounds like Noble. Odom says, when I started doing my live, J3GS was there for me. I was so nervous. You're pretty natural at it now. Flower says, but good. Odom says, and he's still there for me. I thank God for him. Yep, I have a few people like that as well. You definitely being one, Odom. Destiny being one. As for live stream, man, what would I do without my friend Flower? Nothing but support from you guys. It is what it is. One of the things mentioned, by the way, and the biggest mistakes is dead air. Not spending too much time not talking. And I've considered that before, and I realized that I have no issue with dead air. That I can't talk about the things that I talk about and not allow silence to be part of the conversation. And sometimes you need to sit and just be, and you don't have to. Man, that's the biggest thing that I notice, that everything needs to have a sound effect. Everything needs to be crammed with more information. Everything needs to be more conversation put in just for the sake of conversation. That you never have that sacred pause when nothing happens. And instead of trying to fill it, embrace the nothingness. Embrace the fact that right now, don't need to say anything, or I might not have anything to say. So why force something out there for the sake of entertainment? Doesn't always need to be done. Blaise Pascal, I believe it was Pascal, said all of man's troubles stem from his inability to be able to be alone in a room by himself. Let's find that direct quote. And it's a beautiful quote because it explains so much. We can't simply sit still just for a moment. We constantly need to be entertained or provoked or provoking. Odom says, no, I still get nervous. But you know what? I think the difference is that you get nervous, but you've gotten more comfortable. You've realized it's not a bad thing to be nervous. And you just keep putting out that useful information. You keep inspiring. You keep being authentic, natural. And that's the thing that counts. Flower says, well, no need to be my friend. It's normal to get nervous. Well, no need to be my friend. It's normal to get nervous. Excuse me. But hey, at the end of the day, you're the host, so you can just kick hate, which I believe you won't. You won't get. Nah, he won't get it. These are powerful words, Flower. Thank you for offering them in support to our friend Odom. So, let's get that. Let's get that quote. Here it is. This is from the philosopher Pascal. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Imagine if we could all do that. That's the biggest issue people have with meditation. They're left alone with their thoughts, and they don't like it. The first realization of meditation is, man, all that crap is going on in my brain, and I can't do a single thing about it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So they stop meditating, and they go back to that conversation that's not really them. That's the important realization. You're not your thoughts. You are the awareness. You're the witness to the thoughts themselves. Thoughts are just mental energy, neurons firing. Ignore them. Or simply don't believe them. Just know that they're happening. Meditation isn't getting rid of thoughts. It's becoming aware that you are aware of the thoughts. And then everything changes. Odom says, sometimes it's hard to understand or see some of the name for my eyes are getting bad, and I don't want to offend anyone. It's the same with me as well, um, especially names. I know I'm going to mispronounce names. Odom says, thank you, Flower. And she says, you're welcome. And Odom says, just keep looking at the screen, mess with my eyes. Yeah, that's why I keep these glasses on. These aren't my, I think I showed the other day. My prescription glasses are smaller. I have several pair. I don't know where they are. But these are a little bit bigger because when I'm online, it's the lights that really mess with my eyes. So, yeah, definitely the screen time. So, that was Pascal. All of humanity's problems stem from his inability to sit alone in the room, which is true. I'll give you another quote. This one is from Kafka, and this is meditation. You do not leave to you not sorry. You do not need to leave your room. Remain sitting at your table and listen. Do not even listen, simply wait. Be quiet, still, and solitary. The world will freely offer itself to you to be unmasked. It has no choice. It will roll in ecstasy at your feet. That's the power of just being quiet, the power of just sitting. And you know what? You can offer that to people. That's when you give up the whole thought of that everyone always needs to be entertained and that people are coming here for me to entertain them. I have no idea why people are coming here. I appreciate that they do. Um, and hopefully sometimes they're entertained, sometimes they're informed, sometimes they're inspired, sometimes they're probably going to be bored. Um, all of that's good, even the boring part, because you're experiencing a human moment that we all experience, and we work through it. We come out the other side. Maybe something beautiful is going to happen. Odom says, doctor says my eyes are okay, but my eye color changed from dark brown to very light blue. Well, was that from anything in particular? So I really, when Odom says, I like to entertain, motivate, and share life lessons, which are all important qualities and things that we're in deep, deep need of. I think for me, and I've mentioned this the past few days, when people come in and say, "What's your channel about?" or "What's this live stream about?" and the answer is always absolutely nothing. Whatever it is, we happen to make it at that time. Is, I mentioned quite a bit about the Vedic um, principle of always offering a gift. That's all that these live streams are about. We come here so we can offer each other a gift. Sometimes the gift is going to be a nice and friendly word. Sometimes it's going to be maybe something helpful, maybe something inspirational, maybe just a place where you can go and hang out and just be. Odom says, "Don't know. Think I'm becoming a werewolf." Only the full moon will be able to tell for sure. Flower says, "What should I post?" It's a good question. What if you set an assignment for yourself, Flower, that you'll post something once a day for a week, for a month? I like month long or 21-day long uh, disciplines. I'm going to do this every day for 21 days. See what happens. That's going back to what we were talking about earlier about curiosity. Um, just being curious. What do you think would keep inspiring you 21 days straight of posting something without any pressure? Because it can be anything. That's the great thing about art. And that was the biggest thing that I learned is I can show up on an empty page or an empty screen completely void of any ideas of what I should do. And I'm perfectly okay sitting there in front of that emptiness until something occurs to me and then working from there. And something always occurs to me. We don't always need to know what's going to happen. I don't always need to be in charge or have a plan. Let's see. Flower says, "Let me try that. I also need 50 subs to unlock live." Boy, that would be fun to see you do a live session. So what's it going to be? 21 days? Starting tomorrow? Or for you, I guess that would be today, right? Starting today? Odom says, "I need to do that. And a short at least 2 times a week, but I don't like anything I record. I delete 92% of my videos." Yeah, I decided to not censor myself, to just put it out there. Create for the sake of creation itself without the need of an audience. To just do it without worry or concern. Flower says, "As long as it takes to get 50 subs." Well, I'm certainly going to help you with that. I bet our friend Odom will subscribe to you. And I know Mocha will. I know Destiny will. Everyone in the chat, all of our friends, will all subscribe to you. Especially now that they know that you're putting stuff out and that you want to get up to 50. You have been nothing but a friend to every single person that comes in here. You've been open, you've been warm, you've offered good advice, you've been caring. So definitely everyone is going to want to repay you in return. And you've never asked for anything from a single person here. Absolutely amazing. So I'm looking forward to that. 21 days or a month. Which one's it going to be? Yeah, I made the decision. I'm going to do. I do live. You guys know I do. I do everything every single day, um, for however long I feel inspired to do it. I think the 840 some days of burpees actually proves that. Um, but yeah, I do two lives a day, and I try to do one short every day, and I've added to it where I'm going to do the reading, either my own stuff or from things that have inspired me. And again, really just doesn't matter um, how it's taken. YouTube Shorts is so weird that um, like my little short of the deer is up to 2.3K views. The cormorant spreading its wings, and you hardly ever see cormorants, or at least I don't see them that often, has gotten 440. It's just weird how, for whatever reason, the algorithms take to this one and not to something else. Flower says, as long as it takes to get to 50 subs. Well, what I like about doing something like 30 days is that even if you get your 50 subs, you're still committed to doing it until the end of the 50 days. Flower says, let's try streaks. Like Duolingo. Did I say that right? I'm going to try to post a short every day and get my streak high. That's awesome. Adams Homestead says 49 now. um, that's pretty awesome. Let's see. How would you manage to do that, Odom? You know, Odom, by the way, um, I've actually made some great connections through your channel. Some great connections in the homesteading, gardening, and farming community, um, which I very much appreciated. They are all such good people. Let's see. So I'm seeing 25, 25 subscribers right now for Flower. Odom says 48 now. I see 25 on your side. Hey, you got some nice views on some of your shorts. Just a person doing random stuff. Just a person doing stuff, random stuff. Flower says I have 4 vids now. Soon to be more. 1 a day. I saw that. Actually, mine shows 465 views. So how do we share? Um, how do we share a channel? Because I see that we can't share. I'll find a way. You're going to hit 50 in no time at all. And then I think it takes a day. After you hit 50, it takes a day before YouTube, maybe 2, before YouTube unlocks it. So, Flower, that's absolutely awesome. More so, I'm really happy to hear that you're going to go on a creative streak. And the important thing is, don't censor yourself. Don't think that, you know, it has to be done perfectly, that you got to spend a lot of time editing it. Um, just be free. Allow your inner artist to surface and then just give it away. That's what I think of everything that I put out there is I'm giving it away. When you give something for as a gift, whatever it is, you don't keep checking in on it. You don't keep pulling it back in and saying, nope, it's not yours yet. You give it away. Give it to the world. Set it free. Odom says you can share a video. You can share a video, but she has mostly shorts. Well, she has all shorts, and I don't see how I can share that on. I can share it on Facebook and Twitter. Some things that I don't know what they are. Flower says it's a trend. I did it with my friend, but we had no intention of posting it. Then I was bored and didn't have a new video, so I posted it, and I just thought I'd get 20, 30 views. You got quite a few. Hey, the one you did of me got 57. That's not bad. 57 views for an old Yogi and a squirrel. That's pretty good. So, it's been a quiet night, but I had my friend Odom, I had my friend Flower. And we had Ethan drop by, asking some important question, and hope I hope that helps. We had Jose, and again, I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. And Sergio showed up. Always appreciate Sergio showing up, asking some fun questions about our favorite sports. Well, I can't say goodbye just yet because our friend, it is what it is here. He's saying, hey, Eric in chat. How are you guys? We're doing good. Hey, Lewis, would you mind subscribing to Flower's channel? She's shooting for 50 subscribers. It is what it is, says I'm late. No, right on time. You know what? Sometimes it's perfect just to get here just in time to say hi. I see that Noble is done done with his live stream. It is what it is, says say no more. It's been done. Flower, I'm subbed. That's awesome. That is the power of community. Flower, you got some important people who have your back. Trust me when I say that when Lewis has your back, you got nothing to worry about. Flower says, it's fine. There's no such thing as late, as Eric always said to me. When I say that, this is true. Always perfect timing. The entire universe conspired to get you here exactly when you did. So, let's get over here on her channel again. 26. You are over halfway there. And I will be mentioning you in the live stream tomorrow. I'll mention you to Mocha, of course. Lewis says, you're right about that, Eric. Hey, I'm speaking from experience. Oh, I forgot to mention, Unc was here earlier. Lewis spent some time and has left me up and running, which is extremely helpful. That's what I mean about the power of community, that you got people willing to do that for you. I am inching my way towards the 3,000 hour mark, watch hour mark. Might be able to get that in a month. I'm 2,275. So I might be able to reach the 3,000 mark, which is that first level, sometime in early May, maybe, and then just push hard to get that 4,000 in. Flower says, working on a video to thank everyone for the views on my last one. See, that's the thing about inspiration. You never know where it's going to come up. Lewis says, Uncle is a damn goat. I'm telling you. Oh, yeah. All the way around. Not just to streak, but how athletic his burpees are. I put him up there for sheer explosiveness. He's in the same category as Still in the Game, and Duncan. Those three, I think, are the most like for sheer explosiveness every rep. And Louis says 4 years of burpees. He's got insane bounce and love to eat. Yeah, he definitely has that bounce. Those Superman burpees are incredible. Flower says, "I'll agree with that one. Get to know Uncle. He doesn't pop in often, but when he does, he always drops some great advice, some great wisdom, uh, and he's a fun-loving guy as well." Odom says, "I went from 48 to 1,150 in 2 days because of power of community." Um, Subscribers or watch hours? It is what it is. Says that's a great comparison, Eric. Um, Flower says, "Don't forget to like." Thank you. That's the first time that's been said in this conversation. Yeah, I watch. We've talked about this before. People with different styles. That like I mentioned, you're as explosive as everyone else, but you're so fluid that it doesn't stand out. You know what I mean? With Tony Hand still in the game, his explosiveness is brutal. It's just like he's attacking and attacking and attacking. Um, he's like a he's like a Mike Tyson. He's just coming so fast and so furious. Um, Duncan is similar, very intense. Uh, You sort of remind me of a Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, someone very smooth, a Floyd Mayweather. You have the power, but it's so fluid that you're caught up in that fluidity. I definitely like analyzing, not in a way of like critiquing, but just analyzing it for appreciation. Um, Everyone's different forms. Oh, I put Paradox up there in that same explosive category as well. Odom says subs. Lewis says that's insane, Odom. Yeah, that is. Flower says amazing. Hey, we're gonna get you up there too, Flower. 50 by the end of the weekend. Odom says yes, but YouTube keep taking them. It took about a month for them to stick. Yeah, I had something similar as well. Flower says YouTube is jealous. And of course, with watch hours, you lose some each day as well because it's based upon 365 days. So you need even more, so you're not just breaking even. So that's why, like with Noble, with C. Payton, um, I try to do it for Odom as well. I try to do it for um, quite a few friends that I'll go to the playlist and I'll just play all, and let it go through. Get those watch hours up. So, as we're getting ready to shut things down, I just stumble upon a short of It Is What It Is in a sand drift, doing burpees in a sand drift, doing burpees with his gloves and his helmet on. Have you guys seen this one yet? That was pretty awesome. $10 ago, I'd somehow missed this. Man, you're tearing it up on that quad. Burpees in the desert. Pretty amazing. Odom says, haven't grown much this past year. Didn't hit my goal. So that kind of had me second guessing everything. Yeah, I remember you had mentioned several times that you were reconsidering things. And I'm really glad that uh, Trips to Savannah did so much to um, recharge you. Flower says, nice. So, all right, guys, with that, I definitely need to shut things down. I need to take a little bit of time to do my breath work, prepare for sleep. We'll be back again tomorrow. I'm looking forward to seeing Flower's new short that she's going to put up, as well as watching her channel grow all through the weekend. So by Sunday's live stream session, we will have you at 50 and above. Flower says, all right, Eric, our friend Destiny is here. Destiny, how are you? Just getting ready to say goodnight, but I'm glad you had the chance to stop in. Hey, Destiny, our friend Flower is expanding her YouTube channel. She's going to put out more YouTube shorts, and we're going to get her some subscribers. Her goal is 50 so that she can do a live session. Flower says we're just about to close, Destiny. Yep, we'll take a minute or two. We got to spend some time with our friend. Destiny says, that is awesome, Flower. Grow, grow, grow. I am proud of you to follow your passion. Exactly, 100%. Flower says, what country are you in, Eric? I am in the United States. I'm in the state of Maryland in the United States. Destiny says, blessing and love to everyone. Enjoy your weekend. Odom says, have a blessed weekend, everyone. Flower says, city, Columbia, Columbia, Maryland. Beautiful city. I have grown up here and have never really, I've toyed with living other places, but Columbia suits me very well. The question is, unfortunately, it's a much desired place to live. Homes are hugely expensive, and that means the taxes are very high. And I know of some people who have been taxed out of their homes, which is a shame. No one should ever be taxed out of their home, especially when it's paid for already, which my house is. So that's been um, my only goal of making money is to continue the lifestyle, which is a very simple lifestyle. And I don't strive to achieve anything more than the simplicity that I have. Um, right now, the only thing I'm striving for is to maintain that simplicity. I absolutely love, um, and I've talked about this with Destiny, that yogic lifestyle of being able to do the things that inspire me and then offering it to other people. That's the whole purpose of YouTube for me. Sharing the stuff that I love, and then when people come in here, to be able to offer each and every person that comes in here just a gift, the gift of being accepted. Destiny says it's 550 there. Nope, it is 650. Odom says born here in Tennessee, still here. Tennessee is a beautiful state. I spent some time backpacking through the Smoky Mountains. Actually spent a month, and that's all we did. We backpacked between uh, Cherokee, North Carolina, and Gatlinburg, Tennessee, back and forth for a month, just exploring all the Smokies. Destiny is saying check out Odom's channel. I got Odom up and running right now, or I did. He actually just ended. I had to smile listening to Odom talk about protecting your harvest and how he's never seen a squirrel or a rabbit um, leave anything in his garden. They never dropped anything off. Why should he return the favor? And we have check out Flowers channel. Awesome. Well deserved shout outs. So, all right, guys, with that, I'm going to shut things down. Um, be back tomorrow, do another live session. And check out It Is What It Is. These are some important channels because this is our community. And we've had some great lessons from Odom this evening on the power of community and what it can do, what it can accomplish. More importantly, is the realization that we are community, meaning that as individuals, we're not just individuals, we're part of a community, which means we also have a responsibility for each other, helping as Destiny said in the earlier live session, um, being of service for people, helping other people achieve what they would like to achieve without judgment, without saying, that's what you want. You just help because that's what they want. Of course, it's different if it's a destructive path. So, Destiny says, thanks, Eric. Blessing to you and enjoy your weekend. You too, as well, Destiny. Thank you very much. Flower says, all right, everyone, bye. Goodbye, Flower. I will see you tomorrow. Odom, thank you again for your company this evening. Lewis, I'm glad that you made it in. Very much appreciate it. And Unc, I appreciate you showing up as well. Sergio, uh, Evan, and Anthony Sanchez was here. Thank you, Anthony. Once again, guys, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.